Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ. You're here on the home of the slightly above average ship review. Camouflage not visible, but here is the Tier 3 Pan American. Is that what they're calling this? Pan American Cruiser Cordoba. For our build, main battery range 12.7, torpedo 6. AA guns 2.5, sonar 3.5. The concealment 9.1 kilometers. Basically, this is a Danae. I think most of these cruisers in this Pan American tech tree are just made up. What if, some nation in South America bought some ship from somebody else? This is what it could look like. And you guys know I don't like cruisers. I do apologize for the lack of content lately, though. I am going to try to get early access videos out on all these cruisers. But that being said, you guys know I'm not a cruiser player. So if you don't expect too much from me, you might not be let down. If somebody can name that song in the comments, you'll be my new best friend. Unless your name's Vaz, because, Vaz and I are already tight. All right, we're moving out in the Cordoba. It's a Danae with a different name. I got to tell you, the special camo for this thing is a little wacky, a little bit crazy. So I don't have it visible, but that's not through my own doing. I will show the camo to you at the end of the match when I figure out how to turn it back on. All right, there's an aircraft carrier in this match, much to my chagrin. He really didn't do a lot of damage there. We only have a couple of heals and a couple of sonars, and it's just regular sonar. So, again, nothing special going on here. All right, I've determined most of the enemy team appears to be between Bravo and Alpha, or at the very least in Bravo. And the carrier looks like he's in Charlie 3, maybe Bravo 3 or Charlie 3. So I am going to make my way to the Alpha Cap because there's no one out there from the enemy team. And not that there's anybody really from my team over here, although there is a friendly battleship in like E8. I'm pretty much on my own over here. So because we have pretty good concealment, even though the carrier already did find me, I'm going to try to go flip this cap. So I'm judiciously picking my targets. All right. I don't think this ship has the magazine that the other ships could have. Again, because it's just a Danae. But I am going to show you the power of the armor piercing here. I don't remember the Danae having this good armor piercing, but on the other hand, I probably last played a match in the Danae in standard battles several years ago, and by several years ago, I've been playing this game for over 7 years. Probably over 7 years ago is the last time I willingly played a match in the Danae. So we're just checking everybody's movement. Obviously, they're all out of torpedo range because it's just a whopping 6 km. Here's the Jusano. Here is some armor piercing. He is 10.5 kilometers away, folks. I don't know if the British shells pen this good, but we are aiming and firing, and there is a Citadel hit at a 10.3 kilometer away Jusano. So yes, this armor piercing at distance can do damage. Another hit to Citadel. Kill number 1. All right, we've attracted the attention of a Texas. That is a tier higher than me. For some reason, I thought, let's shoot some armor piercing. He doesn't appear to be aiming at me. I don't know if he's aiming at anyone. But I'm going to switch to he coming up here because he ran to the island, and there was nothing I like more than burning him down when he's poorly navigating. He's navigating like I used to navigate. in this game. All right, so fire setting isn't great because we've hit him with a fair number of HE shells, and I would have thought he would have caught on fire at least once by now, but that did not happen. We were going to kind of bow on in case he decides to shoot at me, but I don't think he's shooting at anybody. So we're just going to piecemeal out our HE here. And we finally get a fire at about the 30th round or something like that. I have to divert my attention. We don't get the kill because the carrier's coming after me. We eat one torp there. It does a little bit of damage. There's a Cordoba out there for a moment. I didn't realize the Cordoba was a battleship. So I'm like, well, I citadeled that Italian cruiser. I'll be able to citadel this ship. No, it is a battleship, so there's no citadeling. As I try to get hit by a torpedo and fail. So eventually I'm going to be like, oh yeah, that's a battleship. Maybe I need to switch to HE and set them on fire. And clearly target identification at this point in the day was not my strong point. Hey, by the way, we got a solo base cap over here, so my strategy worked. All right, the carrier's now giving me his full undivided attention. That reminds me of a terrible joke I heard when I was a kid. It may have been from a famous joke book called Truly Tasteless Jokes, number 4. It was like, what do you... I don't even want to tell it, that's how bad it is. What do you have when you have 2 little green balls, one in each hand? The undivided attention of Kermit the Frog. All right, that's a terrible joke. But don't tell that joke to anybody in your workplace. I can only do that because I am not in my workplace. All right, we see the torp planes coming in. The Cordoba is nowhere near us. We're going to go bow on to the torps. And we finally spot the aircraft carrier along with a wayward cruiser. We're going to dodge those torpedoes by splitting the wickets. At first I thought, I will have no problem citadeling the Hermes because I had no problem citadeling that Italian cruiser. And to that I say, au contraire, mon frere. I guess I am not going to have any success as I continue to be harassed by airplanes. Quick note, the AA value of this cruiser is a number that's really low, like 15. So that's not good, just like my aim is not good. But that being said, I think we managed to dodge some more torpedoes. Yeah, the HE left me a little lacking here, so we switched to... Or... The armor piercing didn't perform like I wanted it to, so I switched to HE. Alright, that's more accurate. And we're still dodging torps. And I am doing my thing, and he got a really good hit on us there. And the AA on this ship is terrible, but on the other hand, we have shot down 11 airplanes so far. Switch back to armor piercing. And again, not getting a ton of love. I am mindful that I am being torped at or something at. Still not in torpedo range. Continuing to shoot down airplanes with a really abysmal AA. I think this is the one good salvo here. Alright, I lied. Maybe this salvo? Alright, we did get a Citadel hit, but I had already decided that I was going to switch back to HE because I wasn't having a lot of success prior to that, and why would I change my mind now? It's too late. We're going to eat another torpedo there. Now my teammates are helpfully trying to pinch my kill, so we're going to do a full broadside. I really should have switched back to armor piercing at this point, but I am too dumb to do that. Instead, we're just going to shoot HE frantically and get the kill of the aircraft carrier, along with the honk noise, which signifies greatness. Alright, there is an Omaha. He is also out of torpedo range. He's also running away. So we're just going to continue to fire HE again. Maybe if I could do this over, I would have just used armor piercing the entire time, but as you know, the Omaha is a floating citadel. But since he was at an oblique angle to me here, I just kept shooting HE, and I think we're not going to get the kill of the Omaha, which is bad. But I certainly could have gotten it because I was doing a lot of damage. All right, never mind. We did get that kill. All right, the enemy team has just a couple ships remaining. We've only lost 3 ships. Perhaps if my teammates were less competent, I could have had the ability to get more kills. There, I was just checking my main battery range. Anyway, the match ends just right there. We were too good. They were terrible. All right, here on the victory screen, my favorite screen, 52,195 total damage. 1 solo base cap, 3 hits to Citadel, 5 fires, 3 kills, and we shot down 15 airplanes. Ended up with 229,446 silver, 15,500 ship XP, 15,000 commander XP. Top of the board, 2223 base XP, 3 big kills. And that's the best we're going to get out of the Cordoba with the one match that I'm going to play in it. Unless it's in the Bureau for some reason. All right, it is an early access ship. We went with aiming system mod 1 in mod slot 1. Fully upgraded, prestiged out, the whole 9 yards. Going to take off my booster flag before I forget and leave it on there. You've got high explosive, armor piercing, and torpedoes. You've got a repair party, 2 charges. I think they say this is a greater heal. If that's a greater heal, it's not very great. 2 charges of this really short-range sonar and unlimited charges of the damage control party. Again, I took off the booster flag I was using. 1 year strong flag and the Ancestors Path premium skin, which I'm going to fumble around in here and show you. While I do that, I'm going to read you... am I going to... Oh, I guess I'm talking about the stats first. 22,550 hit points, 4% torpedo damage reduction, 10% fire resistance with our build. You got 6 individual 152 millimeter guns, firing range 12.7 kilometers, reload every 5.3 seconds, and the main battery turn time is 15 seconds. Shell grouping value of 2. You can see the dispersion's all slightly better. HE shells, 2265 max damage with a 12% fire chance. They pen 25 millimeters of armor. AP shells do 25,074 max damage. They pen 236.6 millimeters of armor at point blank range and just 65.7 millimeters of armor at max range with our build. The fuse timer is pretty short, and the fuse arming threshold is 25 millimeters. Torpedo launchers, unfortunately, we didn't get to use them. 4 triple tube launchers. They shoot out to 6 kilometers. The torpedoes travel a whopping 58 knots. The reload time is 58.3 seconds. Max damage, 9,400 with our build. Detectability range of 1,100 meters. And they take 186 meters to arm. AA defense is pretty terrible. But if I had to credit something with shooting down 15 airplanes, it would be these 40 millimeter Vickers guns, which do 123 damage per second. Max speed for our build, 29.8 knots, 540 meter turning circle, 5.7 second rudder shift time, and concealment 9.1 on the surface, 6.2 from the air, 4.7 if you find yourself in a smoke screen. All right. Stats, well, you saw the one match that I intend to play in the Cordoba. So there it is. Main battery accuracy, 52%. I think that's okay. Maybe not great. Admittedly, my aim at the aircraft carrier wasn't fantastic. All right, here's a look at the armor viewer. Only 4 different sections of armor. Here is your Citadel, and it's kind of built into the armor belt there. Your gun emplacements, the gun shields are a little bit more heavily armored. And your bow does have an armor belt. It's 13 millimeters above and below the armor belt. And then your armor belt looks like 38 millimeters, and then it changes to 78 back over the Citadel. And I'm going to switch through all this stuff just to reiterate that point. 38 millimeter plating until you get back to the Citadel aft behind the second battery. All right, greater heal, no, it's definitely not that. Extended range sonar, no, it definitely doesn't have that. Compromising, the AP shells pen too much. I thought they penned just the right amount to me. So I don't think Wargaming is being truthful for the first two of those at least. Here is a look at the commander, maybe. Pedro Lima. Nope, we're going to go try to make the armor work. All right, I'm going to fumble around here. I'll just read you what Wargaming says about this thing, which is an utter lie. In 1933, after the purchase of two Novik, maybe they misspelled that, class destroyers from Estonia, Peru was just dominating everybody in South America. So the Colombian government thought about buying British ships, but they didn't actually do that. So that's how you come up with this ship. Anyway, sorry, I'm looking for decorative here, and I just figured that out because I'm a dumbass. So now we're going to go back in here and take a look at the ship, and wow, that is definitely an interesting choice of camouflage. One that I probably would not have chosen, although it is entirely possible you could damage your enemy's eyesight if they are looking at you up close and personal through the binocular view. Here's the totally made-up commander, Pedro Lima Santos, holding a binocular under his arm or a spyglass. Base trait multi-tool increases damage a little bit. We use Casto Mendez Nunez for a little bit of concealment and a little bit of speed. Membelli for reload. In row number 1, contact is imminent. I think in the future I would go burn it down XXL. That's just me, and I'll make that change now. Choice number 2, crisscross. Choice number 3, I went with back in stock. I think in the future I would go with Velocious. I don't have another build here, so this is probably for a destroyer. Row number 4 went with steer clear. I think reaching out XXL might be a good choice. Also, will to rebuild. I would not use fully packed on this ship. That's just me. On the higher tier ships, definitely a choice you could make. Anyway, that's Cordoba. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a comment below. See you next time.